not by, it hasn't gone up by much. In the last month here, there's nothing of any significant concerns. Just run-of-the-mill complaints that we generate. We have seen an increase in gun complaints, but nothing that's been of concern. Like we've had gun complaints, which is, you know, we've found guys carrying like BB guns or replica firearms or fireworks or stuff like that. So they come in as firearms complaints, but turn out to be not an actual firearm, or there's a reason for it. Other than that, I had guys out for the 100 years, and as far as I understand, there was no major issues for the 100 years. I have 4 people on tonight and throughout the whole week for the fair, so I don't anticipate any issues, and if there is, we do have some sufficient resources for any concerns that may come up. Staffing them, we are guys, 2 promotions.
Bluetooth connection succeeded.
But we will
Bluetooth.
have them for a majority of the summer. Still working on backfills for them. So I'm hoping to have at least an answer for backfill before they do leave. So I will keep you guys posted. As far as that, our summer schedule is pretty stagnant with sufficient resources throughout the summer. So I'm not anticipating, unless something comes up or somebody gets hurt or something like that, I'll have to just deal with it as it comes.
Bluetooth disconnected.
But if anybody has any questions for me, I would rather answer questions and sit up here and ramble. So.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, comments? Great. It's been pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So we all kind of know the issues and concerns, and
yeah, and
we know that everybody's working on them.
We're working on them as they come in. So we've been dealing with SCAN. We've had them out quite a bit.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Like I just got another email from them today. They're dealing with a few houses in town that they're looking at. We've had the marshals out here to assist us with a few things, not in town, but in the rural area. So they have been assisting with whenever they can. I was busy in majority of June here with the forest fires that took place up the Shoe fire. That was a lot of my time spent on that. It's subsided quite a bit now to where it's not really a concern from what I understand from SPSA. Yeah, and other than that, we're status quo, plugging away.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
Keep up the hard work.
Excellent. I'm going to take one spin through the fair, and then I'm going to head home because I'm back to work at 6:30 in the morning. So,
all right. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
Good evening.
You take care, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. All right. Any other questions just for ourselves here? Okay. All those in favor? That's carried. That the 2024 audited financial statements be approved as presented. Councillor Watts. Okay, so everybody has had a chance to review everything, and we'll do a short presentation with Shane. Okay.
Shane, can we test the audio? My speakers are.
Sure, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. All right, so I've already went over the statements with council, so I'm going to do a very brief version of it for everyone, and then if there are any questions, we can go over those after that. Yeah, so I will. For just a second. Okay, so I've got them up now. So our audit report is an unqualified opinion. So once again, through the course of our audit, nothing came to light to make us think that the financial statements are not presented fairly in accordance with the accounting standards. So I'll go over the financial statements briefly with you. The first statement, the statement of financial position for for the balance sheet is that snapshot at the end of the year, the assets and liabilities of the municipality. So cash of $8 million, taxes receivable, other accounts receivable of 2.7 million, and that is it's quite a significant amount this year, in large part because almost 2 million relates to ISIP funding of regards to a capital grant for the landfill. So that is why that is so high in 2024. As it's held for sale relates to some tax title property and other land held for resale. So total financial assets of about 11.4 million. The liabilities, accounts payable and accrued liabilities, a lot of that just depends on timing, what's going on. So there are a couple of large invoices right at the end of the year for insurance and a couple of the capital projects. So the accounts payable is up a little bit at the end of the year compared to the previous year. Deposits are primarily for utilities, some other deferred revenue, asset retirement obligation. So that relates to the expected future costs of decommissioning the landfill. So that is up quite a bit this year. So there was one cell that was decommissioned in 2024, and then a new cell that was started. With that, the actual costs were a lot higher than the previous estimate, so that estimate had to be increased significantly. So that is the reason for the increase there. So about 3.5 million is the present value of the future expected costs related to the ongoing monitoring of it, as well as the one-time decommissioning costs for the cell that is currently operating. Long-term debt, there was an additional debt issuance in the year to assist with some of those decommissioning costs for the landfill. So total liabilities of 6 million, so net financial assets, so that the financial assets less the financial liabilities is about $5.4 million. And then the non-financial assets include the tangible capital assets, some prepayments, and inventory. The next page is the statement of operations or income statement. So total revenues in the year were about 11.8 million compared to a budget of 11.2. So up a little bit. Total expenses, we'll mention that the budget does not include amortization. So about $2 million of the actual expenses related to amortization. So if we back that out, it's about 11.2 actual compared to 9.9 budget. 1.3 million of the difference is because the decommissioning costs were higher than anticipated, right? So that plays a big factor into it. And once we factor that in, it was fairly close to what was budgeted. Apart from that one, obviously very big, very significant difference. So that covers off the really general overview. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that unless there are questions. So I will open it up to questions, and if there's anything in specific that you would like to delve into in a little bit more detail, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you, Shane. And do we have any questions we'd like to discuss? I think it's very apparent the costs of our landfill and what that's going to look like in the future going forward. So something for us to be very mindful of over the next few years. Okay, if there's no questions, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other questions, all those in favor of approving? That is carried.
Is he gonna hang out for the rest of the meeting?
What's that?
Is he gonna hang out for the rest of the meeting?
Oh, yeah.
He's got rid of him. Okay, so
Okay. That the financial reports for July 14th, 2025 be approved as presented. Councillor Stewart. Has everybody had a chance to take a look through the report there? Any questions or comments that we can forward on to Maria?
Just a quick comment. I noticed that there's 2 payments to the Receiver General because of the $50,000 allowance, so good job.
If there's nothing else, all those in favor? That's carried. That the reports of senior administrative officials recorded as items 10.1 to 10.2.7 be received and filed. Councillor Dudor. All those in favor? It's carried. That the department monthly reports be received and filed. Councillor Blair. And with that, we'll start with you, Michelle.
First, I would like to start off about the 100-year celebration on the weekend and just make a mention to the staff, everybody, council, the public. It was such a great weekend and the staff did a phenomenal job. So we're very proud of our staff. And a huge congratulations to Rick DeBeck, who retired last month after 40 years with the town of Lakewood. He may be our longest reigning employee as of this time. I don't know if there's anybody who's been here longer. So congratulations to Rick, and Mike Cranch has taken his place and he's so far doing great. Strategic planning is, our workshop is scheduled for the 25th and 26th of September. So we're looking forward to that. We'll be working with the consultant and they will be sending out surveys for everybody to fill in and give your opinion and your comments prior to that. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. If anybody has any questions.
Go ahead.
In your report, you made a note here that you had a meeting with the SHA to discuss the sharps. Was that a positive meeting? Or are we gonna hear more about how that went?
It was positive. Their hands are kind of tied the same way as ours. They advised us that they collect more sharps than what they give out. And that could be from diabetics getting diabetes medication or from people buying needles or getting them from somewhere else. But they do take in more than they actually give out. And we're going to work together with public education and just do some brainstorming and thinking outside the box what we can all do to alleviate that issue.
The numbers for that. So 2024, they provided 109,000 needles and they took in 142,000.
I just have a hard time wrapping my head around how there's so much still showing up. Like where, if all of the SHA and the exchange programs did that, I just don't get.
So one thing that they mentioned was a lot of people are going to other communities to get their sharps.
Hmm.
And then bringing them back into Midway.
But where are they getting them in the other communities? SHA?
There's other programs where you can get needles and you don't have to bring any in. You can buy them online. It's a continuing concern. We are looking at some options to have some larger bins in a few places as well, so that'll come around the table hopefully in a couple of weeks, maybe by the next meeting.
Are they still operating out of that one building?
No, they're not.
Oh,
They are at the hospital.
yes, okay. In the
On the
community
community.
services department. Oh, okay.
Les, you had a question?
Just noticing, Michelle, the meeting that you had with the administrator of the RM, was that in regards to the rezoning?
And in regards to one of the items in correspondence coming up later about recreation agreement and about boundary alteration and all of our agreements that we have with them.
Any other questions or comments for Michelle? Okay. We'll move on to the corporate services department. I know Maria is away. Michelle, would you be able to speak to it?
Sure, actually, the one, well, she's been very busy with the audit. But the other one that we wanted to point out was that there's currently 57 properties in the tax enforcement process. And that is down significantly from other years. We typically will register between 40 and 50 properties each year. Registered means, and we would have maybe 70 at this time. Right? So the 57 is down significantly. So we either take acquiring title because they've gone through the entire process, or people are paying their arrears. And we want to see that. That's really good. So, and out of those 57, there's 11 that have had or will have before the 30-day final notices issued. So there's a potential that those 11 will either be paid off and removed from the list, or we will come to council to acquire title. So that was just a positive thing that I wanted to share.
Any questions or comments? Moving forward to Maria.
So is that happening naturally, Michelle, or are we doing anything to create that?
A bit of a combination of both, because Laura is doing a lot of our tax enforcement. So when she sees a customer come in, she might ask them, "Oh, were you going to pay your taxes as well as your utilities?" Yeah, a lot of it is a natural process.
Going the right way, then trending the right way.
Yeah. We're not really doing anything substantially different.
Right, we'll move on to the next one. The Leisure Services Department and Chelsea.
Hi, thank you. The one thing that I would like to comment on in the report, would be number 2 under new projects, the Ball Diamond relocation. So I'm not sure if council's had a chance to read this, but council has approved the relocation of the Ball Diamonds from Central Park up to LP Miller, behind LP Miller School grounds. Following quite a few discussions with administration and with Minor Ball, there has been some appetite to consider moving them instead up there to beside Walleye Park area, to eventually plan to have all the Ball Diamonds at Walleye Park, and then they're not separated going forward for future years. So kind of to take a step back and look at the long-term goals of Nipawin and planning, and consider if it's best to have all diamonds together, therefore having a concession stand and bathrooms and all your operations in one area instead of split between town, or split throughout town, I guess. Our plan initially was to move the one this year, the second one next year, and then eventually lead to moving all of them up to the hill. But with discussing the slow pitch diamonds being down here, the plan is never to move those. Does it make more sense to move them down to Walleye Park? So that is something that we've been in discussion with, and I wanted to just give council a heads up that we've been exploring that option, and we plan to, with Minor Ball, present some information to council in the coming meeting, as long as council's open to that idea, I guess, and looking more at some plans of what it could look like and budget wise.
Joyce?
Would that mean also the soccer fields would move? No?
Not right now, no. No, I don't think that there's the room for the soccer fields and the Ball Diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, they would
What
stay.
would parking be like over at Walleye?
There would be room and that would be that would be part of the plan. We would look at the parking and ensure that that was adequate, and that would be working with our land planner just to make sure that there is adequate parking and it wouldn't be street parking and then walking in kind of thing, but
Go ahead, Jeff.
So the long-term goal would be to move all 4 of the ball diamonds down into that piece of land, right? So we go from moving 2 ball diamonds to moving 4.
Yeah.
And creating facilities, which there are some facilities right where they currently are.
there are, yes.
Yes, so it's quite a bit more of an expense in the long term
It would be, yes.
than just moving the 2 up by the water treatment plant.
Yeah.
We say behind LP, but that's a little bit of a nuance closer to the
So
water.
it is, yes.
Water treatment plant.
Those washroom facilities, however, up there are not,
Yeah,
and the concession are not quite
Yeah, they would need it.
adequate.
Not against it, just it's a lot more money. so
It
we-
would, yes, there would be some budget implications for sure over the, and it's not something we would look at doing like next year. It would be a process. Minor Ball's on board to start fundraising for something like that as well. But
Les?
So would that land then become available for development, or is that still?
the Ball Diamond land, behind LP,
Yeah,
yes, correct.
back into townhouses or whatever.
Yeah, and that was the one discussion we've had is, if somebody's building in a brand new house, they're probably gonna look up on the hill opposed to, by Waller Park. So,
Do you have any other questions, comments for Sheldon? Thank you, Sheldon. Oh,
Just one more, and ball, they would like them, all 8 of them together now? Okay,
they see it, it would be easier to hold any kind of tournament, stuff like that.
yeah, I get that. That was the whole idea of moving them all up to the north end.
Correct. Yes,
So that it would be easier for the tournaments. No.
there definitely is without a doubt a budget implication now, more so. But something that we can put together, administration with Minor Ball can put together and present it to council.
And are we getting the numbers at ball? Right? So if
That's also a discussion we need to have.
we need all 4, or can we go away
Right.
with 2 or 3?
Right.
So
The push will be to have all 4, but
I know.
starting with 3
might
might
be,
be okay.
because if you don't get the numbers to warrant 3 diamonds with 4 slow pitch diamonds, it's really harder. to-
Yeah.
But if you do have the numbers, then maybe more.
Yeah.
So it's just,
The unfortunate part when we measured the slow pitch diamonds is they're a bit small for, your older elites.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate part when it comes to the slow pitch diamonds.
just more excitement for home runs.
It is. Is that?
Any other questions?
yeah, lots. You think of something like that, you look at the development of that entire area, the development of 12th, the drive all the way down, like there's a lot to consider than just moving the ball diamonds, access into the area, parking,
Mhm.
development south of the vision center, all through that whole 12th. Do we link up those roads? And for, we wouldn't have to put necessarily water and sewer into there, which might save us some money, so might actually save you money in the long run. Is that cheaper than putting it up at the top? So that's what I'm going through with my head. So there's lots of things to consider, and you want a full plan before we start
Yeah.
moving things.
For sure.
But I think you were more thinking to Niplin's long-term vision. You don't wanna move it once, spend money, and then
Yeah.
maybe long-term vision is to move them all together. So you
Spending
gotta
bad
think
money
about
after
all-
worse. Yeah.
And that was my concern when we started talking with Minor Ball, was that I don't wanna move something with something in the back of my brain telling me maybe this isn't the best for the long-term plan of Niplin. So we've been fortunate in the past that Niplin has been assisted by building all of our ball diamonds. And council is probably aware of this, but the Vanity or the Walleye Park diamonds were not built by Niplin, Town Niplin. They were built by the Vanity Cup. So we've been fortunate that way that those capital expenses have been saved.
Strategic planning, right? There you go.
I will continue working with Minor Ball and bring a plan. And they are prepared that, depending on the timelines this takes, it may mean another ball season with one ball diamond missing.
And they were able to do okay with Three Diamonds?
They did, yeah, they shuffled teams around, like my kid played on, we practiced on just some grass, but soccer pitches. So we made it work.
It'll be interesting to see what it could potentially look like.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I like the idea, closer to the accommodations and services and people be able to find it rather than driving all the way across town. And
Yeah.
I think the convenience of it would be advantageous to tournaments and out of town teams coming in and stuff.
I should mention this is very new information to the senior management team too, so we need to.
Yeah,
Sorry, senior management.
it's all good.
Just to follow up on that point, you're also, you're a lot closer to restaurants, potentially more development coming down on the south. So if you are looking at attracting more tournaments, there's a lot more to be offered that location than up behind.
And then, decreasing the traffic going back and forth across all the way across town.
But if you're gonna have a lot of people coming in through there, we really gotta talk about 12 and Lynn. So
Yeah.
that's what it really comes down to. Yeah, okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay,
Thinking out
thank you,
loud.
Chelsea.
Thank you.
And next up, we've got community services and Derek.
Thanks. I don't have a whole bunch to add because it's a pretty long-winded report. Yeah, I don't know. The downtown revitalization is in there. I'll get the report and send it out to everybody at one. I just kind of summarized everything she had sent. I think it went well. There is an appetite to get some things going. The biggest concern from the business community was and it has nothing to do with the downtown revitalization. It's more community safety and just the current nightlife downtown, basically, I guess would be lack of a better way of putting it.
Do we have any questions or comments for Derek? Right, thank you, Derek. Next, we'll go on to operations and engineering and Jamie.
So yeah, I just want to highlight on one thing. These power outages that we've been having lately, they've been a little hard on our electrical equipment at some of our facilities. It's taken out a laptop, printer, at our SPS, it took out some electrical there. But I think, I was talking with, Brett Kane, and lightning hit his house actually. So I don't know if that had something to do with the SPS. It's relatively close, but we've been having some issues with that. So if it keeps happening, I'd like to send something to SAS Power.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
It actually did take out our controllers at the pool too, which was a substantial, our chemical controllers.
So some power surges.
So can get pretty costly if it all of a sudden took out like all our electronics at the water treatment plant or something like that, right? We have backup generators, but it just seems to be
There
getting
must be a
worse lately.
delay.
Yeah, I don't know what it is if it's just some dirty power or, right? I'm just that's one of the things that we've been experiencing as a group, so.
Okay.
And one more thing, the Works Department painted the Legion sidewalk and we've been getting lots of compliments, so a win.
Yes.
Do we have any questions or comments for Jamie? All right, no, I did notice a lot of the comments coming in on the sidewalk you guys painted, so that was fantastic.
That's good.
All right, thank you, Jamie.
Yep.
Moving down to the fire department monthly report and Paul.
Yeah, so a busy month. We were going along at a call a day there clip for average. We ended up with 29 for the month. So we have actually eclipsed, I think I've got it in there, our yearly total from 2022, and we're already creeping up on 2023. So lots of stuff that's going on. Obviously the big ticket item, I guess, would be the wildfires, and the fact that we sent a crew up just north of Love there to fight on the southeastern flank of the shoe fire. So we ended up having guys there for 9 days total, assisting with SPSA. You do see a lot of communities that have been going further up into La Ronge, into Beauval is the most recent one. We've been I've been very hesitant to start sending resources and members out when we are we're on the front line. And again, just to put a perspective for some that don't know, the shoe and campfire that did burn ended up being the size of Prince Edward Island. So it was the biggest fire in Western Canada. They do say that it's probably going to have portions that will be burning into next year and probably another year. Once it gets down in the muskeg and the moss and stuff, it burns and it burns and it burns and they'll pop up every once in a while. So, but yeah, my guys did a heck of a job. The ones that were willing to go up, and it was not easy slogging going across the creek on a regular basis, but they did it, and Dan proud and Dan happy of all of them. Other than that, I think it's all kind of the same old car fires, ammonia leaks, evacuations of a building during a council meeting, standard for
Just Tuesday.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Are there any questions or comments for Paul? Go ahead.
I was gonna ask this last meeting too, but you did get called out to a fire call. I noticed on your reports, some of the calls, a nuisance property, they're going to like 5, 6, 7 times. And the time that you spent at one particular property, I figured it out, it was 2 hours and 15 minutes that you were there just dealing with that. With these nuisance properties, as it's stated right in here, is there anything, like, is there a way that this is in the nuisance bylaw, if there's any fines happening for your current, like, it's just a community service that the taxpayers are paying for, and you're going to the same property for the same problem 2 months in a row, I see the same address.
Yeah. The challenge, of course, is in town, we can't charge for something that we provide as a service. So whether that be bylaw, whether that be fire, if it's a service we're providing, especially for protection, we can't actually say, here we go. I know that other municipalities have tried to see what they can do, and I think there are some that are in the process of doing that. If we can find fines, we certainly, trust me, we do everything in our power to find anything, whether it be a bylaw, whether it be a fire citation. We'll try and dig those things up. And everything that we find, especially when I turn them nuisance properties, trust me, everything goes to scan. So they have it all as a rich tapestry when they're adding to their reports, because the more information we can provide to them when they take it to a judge to say, okay, this is the process we're going in. It's not just noise. It's not just possible criminal activity. It's not just people showing up at 2 o'clock in the morning for 15 minutes because we all know what they're doing there at that time of day. It's fires, it's assaults, it's, we back up the police for something. It's an EMS assist, right? It's all of these things. I just basically everything that I can, it goes right to them.
I guess that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to see it month after month.
Oh, trust me,
Property.
I know it, I live it.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions or comments? I would just like to thank you guys for the work you guys did on those, helping out with those forest fires. It was getting close into some of our neighboring communities, so thank you guys and your crew for working so hard out there too, and safely. So. All right, thank you, Paul, for that one. And Protective Services, and Paul.
Yeah, so the two kind of dovetail into one another. A lot of stuff is, I do apologize. Sometimes it seems like it kind of blends into one another. And sometimes I look and go, okay, I think I may have mentioned this in the fire report. And well, it probably maybe should be said again or touched upon again in the Protective Services. I do, again, want to sing the kudos for our bylaw officer. He's done a phenomenal job. For having as many hats as he likes to wear. I like to complain that I wear lots of hats. That's why I don't have any hair. He's certainly doing the exact same thing, doing all the things that he does. And including emergency management. He was assisting with with all of the wildfires that were going on. I did praise the joint venture EMO, so our surrounding communities. Jason Volke did a phenomenal job, but Luke had a hand in some of that as well. So again, a lot of stuff crammed into those little reports. I could be here all day talking about it. You probably don't want me to, so any questions, shoot them my way. But I think a pretty rich tapestry again for the last 2 months. And I do apologize I didn't get a report in last time, simply because of the way that the week fell. I wasn't able to get all of my stats and stuff from the vet and from Bilo.
Do we have any questions for the protective services side? Thanks again, Paul. And our last one, our land planning department, and Jeff.
Thanks. I don't have a lot to report on. I was just going to touch on the airport, that we have a camera installed and we can track planes as they kind of come and go. So you can see over the past 3 weeks, we've had 11 different planes come in and out, and there's 4 spray planes, and they've been very busy with many takeoffs and landings per day, which is good to see.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Jeff? Go ahead, Les.
No, just a comment. Our son was home to visit for a few days in between, well, when the rains happened, he was able to get away. And we were talking about the airport out here, and he says they land the water bombers in Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay. So I was asking him, how much room do you need to land a water bomber? And he said they need 5,000 feet. And I think we're about 1,200 feet short.
I think we've got 3,000.
Close to 3, at 29 something.
Yeah, so we're a couple thousand feet short.
A little short, but I asked him his opinion of creating a fire base here, and that was his comment, is they have one in Hudson Bay. But yeah, we're too short.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Any other questions or comments for Jeff? All right, thank you, Jeff. All right, now that we've heard all of the reports, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to award the 11th Avenue Water and Sewer Extension Project to GB Construction for the quoted price of $1,224,119.80 plus GST, pending prior receipt of all permitting requirements, with funds to come from GL account Capital Utilities Sewer 471-820-820, as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services. Councillor Stewart. And with that, I will pass it over to Jamie.
Yes, so I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of background here. When I brought this to council earlier this year to send it to RFP, Catterall and Wright did that, and they got this amount of $943,725 plus taxes. After that was completed, Catterall and Wright was talking with WSA, the Water Security Agency, and they wanted 2 additional fire hydrants put in that area. So that was their request. So Catterall and Wright went with just GB because they were the cheaper company that bid this job, and they're also the ones that did the Evergreen Drive service loop. And they went off of their pricing because they provide individual pricing for everything. So it was an additional $60,475 to install them 2 hydrants. So that's why that price is up to. And also, I also added a 15% contingency because that wasn't added as well. So it is $1,224,119 80. So there's that. And I worked with these guys down at the Evergreen, and I was very impressed with how professional and how much help we had to with engineering. It on paper everything looks like it's going to work, but there's a lot of field fitting once you open the ground up, things that aren't supposed to be there, and they did quite a bit of work for us for free. I was very, very impressed with that whenever we had any kind of issues. We had one leaky valve, and they changed it at a very minimal cost as well for us. So I was very impressed with their work. And if we would like to get this done this year, this will have a completion date of hopefully the 31st of October. And of course, we're still waiting on a little bit of permitting from the Heritage Group. Because it's virgin ground out there, you just got to get that stamp. And they think they'll have that here within the next couple of weeks. They're hoping. So, yeah. And we also had budgeted like 3.2 for this project, so come significantly under budget as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Les.
Did I remember from the previous drawings you were gonna pull 12th Avenue up to the main 2?
Nope, just 11.
Just 11?
Yeah, we're just gonna go to that field right on 12th.
Yeah.
And right there where that SAS Power fenced building is.
Okay, I just saw that some of the previous drawings showed 12th Avenue.
No, it's gonna connect the next, over by Co-op is where that would go right to Co-op, and then it service about 3/4 of that field.
Okay.
Yeah. So quite a bit of growth would happen before we'd have to look for other things.
Always nice to be under budget.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my favorite words.
Any other questions or comments on this? Right, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to award the gravel supply contract to Vic Construction Services Limited for the tendered amount of $28.75 plus PST per yard of road gravel as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services, with funds to come from GL account gravel 431-320-415. Councillor Watts. Jamie.
Yeah, so this year we upped this budget by $5,000. We have to start graveling our back alleyways. They're starting to get fairly soft when it rains. Everybody, I'm sure some of you councilors have this issue. There's Chupa Trucking was 1 cent cheaper, but I thought that 1 cent we could give it to a local contractor. So yeah, we're going to be purchasing. My suggestion is purchasing through Vic Construction for our yearly limit of gravel delivered to our yard.
Perfect. Any questions or comments?
The 1 cent only makes a difference of $10.60 per 1,000 yards that way.
Yeah. I think that'll fall within the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor? It's carried. That council hereby agrees to award the Nipawin Airport Runway Rehabilitation Project to Covenant Construction Inc. for the quoted amount of $199,663.18 plus GST, as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering Services, with funds to come from GL account Airport Capital 431-340-820. Councillor Newdorf. And Jamie.
So I put this project on SAS tenders with a closing date of June 27th, 2024. I received 2 RFPs back. One from Black Rock Asphalt and Paving for $342,380, and one from Covenant Construction Incorporated for $173, and that's 6/20/16 plus GST for both. That's quite a big difference, a huge difference. So I just want to give you a little bit more information. So I talked to the CAP funding, and I believe in trying to spend as much as you can when you get funding, right up to the last cent, because it's 50-cent dollars pretty well. So I just have to make an application to maybe expand some of this work with this extra funds. And I'll be bringing that, of course, in front of council for approval. But I just want to get the ball rolling, get this company in here for September, October, and then apply with CAP. They said it shouldn't take very long for that approval because it will be all airport items that I'd like to upgrade with the extra funds. So Covenant was working with Larange just recently, so I phoned the director of public works there and asked him if he had any issues or anything like that, and he said that he enjoyed him around and they did a good job, so there's that as well. So I just think it's a big difference.
Yeah, it's concerning.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, are there any questions or comments on this one?
Yeah, that's just my concern, like it makes you nervous and it's not much less.
Yeah.
Maybe they can add another 2,000 feet.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That might cost a little bit more than that.
Go ahead.
I could give you an example of differences again. One was 222,000, one was 90, 112. Not one company that's high with the 222. The other was 90, the 90 was done pretty good.
Yeah.
That's just what you're gonna do.
Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor? That's carried.
And this is also, they're gonna do a little bit more than was actually, they were gonna do a little bit more than was actually asked for. So that's on top of that, for that price.
All right, on to the next one. That due to a fire destroying the residence, council hereby agrees to abate the 2025 municipal and educational property taxes for the property located at Parcel M, Block 2B, Plan CN 5832 in the amount of $510.86, with $204.43 being the education property tax portion, as recommended by the GM of Corporate Services. Councilor Newman. And Maria's not here, so Michelle, can you speak to this?
Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. So the house burned in February, I believe it was, and so then typically we abate the taxes on the residence. It wouldn't be the base tax, it would just be on the residence itself. And just for the period that it's can't be used as a residence.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this?
I just have one in regards to fire structures with these abatements. Does the town have a time constraint when there is a house that burns like this and you're giving these abatements? Is there a time that it has to be cleaned up and and potentially developable again? Or is there nothing in place where somebody could have a house that's burnt and they just leave it at that non-developable, non-taxable for?
It could potentially be, but of course the lot has to be cleaned up. And some of them were working with insurance companies and they can't do anything to clean it up or remediate the property until insurance gives the go-ahead.
Yeah.
But if a house burns down, we can't force them to rebuild. If they choose not to rebuild. on
No,
that
but even cleaning it up. Is
Cleaning
there
it
a
up.
time frame? Does the town have something that
It
their
absolutely
requirement?
does.
Okay.
We do it sort of minimum standards and nuisance abatement bylaw. However, sometimes insurance drags their feet and then they simply can't.
I'm
do
more
it.
thinking non-insured properties too, right? It's for doing cleanup and stuff like that.
Non-insured properties, absolutely, we would have orders written on them.
Yeah.
To clean up.
And we have done that in the past. One on 4th Street North would have been the most recent one that was uninsured that we cleaned up as a town. This one being an insured property is a little bit more.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just finish this motion up, Jamie.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? That's carried. You're heading out a little early.
Well, I'm on vacation, so that's why I'm
Absolutely.
going to go be on vacation.
You'll be on vacation.
Take care, enjoy your holidays.
Okay, have a wonderful night.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
So deck later or what?
Candy apple?
Yeah, even better.
Yeah.
Whereas at the regular meeting of council held October 15th, 2024, council approved a loan from the Diamond North Credit Union to finance utility infrastructure projects, including the water and sewer trunk extension at Highway 35 South. Therefore, council hereby approves the loan from Prosperity Credit Union, formerly known as Diamond North Credit Union, in the amount of up to $1.25 million over a 10-year term at an interest rate of 4.79%. Councillor Stewart. Michelle?
Sure, as the report says, back in October, council of that particular council had approved a loan for the 3 utility infrastructure projects, or 2 utility infrastructure and the landfill decommissioning. And at that point in time, this project was removed from requesting Saskatchewan Municipal Board approval due to the heritage permitting that Jamie had mentioned earlier. However, this project was included in the RFP and awarded to the credit union. They did one portion of the loan for the first 2 projects under one loan number. So this one will be under a separate loan number and through the Prosperity Credit Union versus Diamond North. So they've requested that we do another resolution just to keep things formalized. Okay, that's
Thank you, Michelle. Do we have any questions or comments? Jeff?
When we were deciding to increase the utility fee on the water bill to be able to pay for these were a lot more expensive. So would we be able to pay it off sooner? Quite a bit sooner, I'd hope so, than the 10 years, if we keep on the same practice, the same trajectory we're on with the infrastructure fees.
We very well could, and we have confirmed with the credit union that there's no penalty to pay it out early. So we absolutely could pay it out early, and then we could decide with the utility infrastructure fee.
Cause
what's next?
Cause the 3 loans were quite a bit more than what they're actually all coming in as, so, and we based that fee on something else, on different information.
That's
Yeah.
right, and when the RFPs actually came in, they were much different than the quotes that we had received.
I just wanna make sure that the money that we're asking the taxpayer to pay on their water bill, that extra infrastructure fee goes towards paying off these. If it goes down faster, that's fine, right? That's what I wanna see, cause that's what was the purpose of that increase,
Right.
not to go sit in an account.
Exactly, absolutely, we would pay it off quicker if we could, and there's no penalty to do that.
Okay.
And then we would reevaluate the infrastructure charge and potentially bring a recommendation to council to potentially lower it, but I'm not gonna guarantee that.
Or you go to a different project, right?
Exactly.
Just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure.
exactly. There's always a project. And-
You know, how you stretch things out over 10 years, and then now you all of a sudden you have, we have more income because we're getting this, but the reason we did that increase was to
Absolutely.
pay off these loans. So
Yes,
it's-
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
get done sooner if possible.
Like, just have a question. So this is 1.2. Was there another loan that was issued
Yes, it was a little over 500,000.
that was that in the 2024
Yes, either late 2024 or early 2025.
for the landfill?
Yes,
Okay, it was 24.
yeah, and the Evergreen Drive project as well.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just looking at the financial statements, it's well under the 9 million that we're allowed to borrow. So
Well
I don't
under,
see any
yes.
problems financially.
Yes, absolutely. We're in good shape financially with loans, our debt limits, yes.
But we also, it was the infrastructure fee I was talking about, the one that we increased.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That, wanted to make sure it was going towards this. I think we'll be able to pay it off a lot quicker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that is one of the things the infrastructure fee can pay off, right?
yes, it can pay off utility. It can't pay off the landfill
That's right.
decommissioning,
Nope.
which was the previous one,
Mhm.
but it can pay off the Evergreen Drive and it can pay off this water sewer.
That's what I thought it was. That
just, it has to be utility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you see
Yeah.
that 10-year associated with this, you kind of go 10 years, well, it's a lot less, and we know how we did the money with this, so with that fee, it should be less.
Yeah, and the RFP was for 10 years, so once we
Mhm.
have our surplus, maybe we'll make, at that point, we could make a recommendation to pay off the entire loan or a portion of it.
If we just stayed the course on paying the fee that we thought we were gonna pay before, then
Exactly.
that's why we increased that, we should be done at a reasonable time, not, be well sooner than 10 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Oh,
sometimes it
absolutely.
doesn't make sense to use other dollars from other departments
No,
when utilities is only able to be used towards utilities.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
utilities is where it would come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just to elaborate further, I wouldn't mind to be able to see is it gonna be 10 years, or is it gonna be, we should know how much how much revenue we're bringing in from that increase in infrastructure fee. So I wouldn't mind being able to see exactly when that would be paid off, if we kept up.
We can bring that information to the next meeting. I don't
Yeah,
have. the
I know it's not
numbers.
right now, but that'd be something I would request, but at council. I'd request it.
Probably budget time would be the idea.
Mhm.
Is this something that we had budgeted for?
Yes,
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, and we can budget it as a loan.
Okay, so it's already been,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
So I can see these things coming cheaper. So, yeah.
yeah, paying it off. Now, one of the things I didn't notice in the financial statements was what amount of our cash is sitting in a savings account that's collecting interest. Because that might be some of the offset. If we're collecting higher interest in this, then it makes sense to leave it as a 10-year loan compared to paying it off early.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah. And we'll be bringing a recommendation to council. Hopefully at the next meeting.
So any other questions or comments on this? All right, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby approves the long-term debt application to the Saskatchewan Municipal Board to borrow up to $1.25 million over a 10-year term with an interest rate of 4.79% for the purposes of extending the water and sewer trunk on the south end of town at Highway 35 South. Councilor Blair. And I guess
This just relates to the previous resolution. We have to have Saskatchewan Municipal Board approval in order to borrow any funds over a long period of time.
This is just one extra step that we have to
Yeah.
jump through.
Yeah, yeah.
So, any questions or comments? All those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to sell lot 25, block 10, plan CE 740 for $5,000 for the purposes of business expansion as recommended by the land planner, and that the property be ineligible to be consolidated unless conditions of the lot consolidation policy are met. Councillor Blair. And I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Thank you. We had received a request to purchase some property, for business expansion. The land is behind a existing, towing business. They were interested in using the land as more space for vehicles. The property is not in a very highly sought after location in the sense that the groundwater is quite high, making building a bit difficult. And it's also tree covered. The town doesn't have any services to that lot, and we don't have any intention of putting services in that area. We've had the property for a long time, since 1971. This is the first request I have on record of anybody really expressing interest in it, so that kind of reflects the price. I'm just going off of the lot consolidation policy with what it says for consolidation of the property with the others. Just given that there's no intent to build anything on it, so that's why I'm recommending the way I am. It could be recognized that just given the poor condition, I guess, of the lot and building ability on that lot, council may want to look at something else, but I'm just going off what we have in policy. Trying to think of what else they can let me know. The applicant did say that their purchase is conditional on being able to consolidate the property. But that's something I guess council can just consider.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Yes?
In regards to consolidation down here, sticking within the building bylaw, we have to build. Because down there, is it not kind of like you can't build certain things down there because of the water table? Like if people wanted to even build a garage, it's kind of like not really recommended, or houses or anything. So I feel there's limited structures to stick within the normal bylaw given the conditions of that property. Now, that being said, does it not state it has to be a taxable structure, which is over 100 square feet?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as there's a taxable structure on the property, it would still fall within the consolidation bylaws of the town, even though they're not impinging property line. But there's no way to ask them to add on to that shop because it falls against the other building bylaws down there.
Yeah, and adding on to the shop, that would be, I mean, that would be a very large expansion, like a very large expansion.
Exactly.
The other thing would be is when we look at the building size, it's supposed to be something that's taxable to the extent that it kind of offsets what the base tax would be. Because that would be the cost right now is the base tax, which is I think like $1,200 or something like that. So you'd want the taxable structure to be, you know, something with a little bit of value. I don't know if we would accept like a 12 by 12 shed as an example, like that's so small, but I mean, that would be enough to fit under the policy to allow council to consider it. So that is a taxable structure, but then it would kind of be up to council from there.
I guess I look at it like 47 years of owning this property, getting nothing is still nothing. So
that's true.
In my opinion, you said in 47 years, nobody's wanted to acquire this property. It's not a desirable location. So if we can make them stick within the regular bylaws that we have, which is a taxable structure, considering this location, I think getting an extra $150 or $200 a year on a taxable structure over the next 47 years is still $8,000. $8,000 is better than nothing, because nothing is still nothing, right? That's my opinion.
Are there other questions or comments?
I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something is better than nothing.
And I think as long as we stick within, we can't just say, well, we'll let it slide that it's not a taxable, it has to be a taxable structure. But as long as we stick within the bylaws that it is a taxable structure, I think given the circumstances, that would be, I think, agreeable.
Will support the taxable structure.
The taxable structure just has to be over 100 square feet, so,
A nice shed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a shed could be on a base that could be moved if it required it within that property, but it's still gonna be taxable.
And so just to be clear in my mind, that would answer the amalgamation.
Consolidation. That
Consolidation.
would then fall within the bylaw requirements to consolidate, because you have a taxable structure.
So is there an exemption?
So because it's a policy, we can in individual instances review it and decide not to follow our policy. And we can do that on a case by case basis. We have that ability.
But you gotta be careful.
You do have to be careful for sure. So I'm just gonna provide a little bit of information that I heard, specifically regarding this property. And this is why I would be in favor of consolidating, even if they don't put a taxable structure on. So the main reason for this is to allow this business to take care of RCMP towing and impound. Right now, no one in town can handle impounds for the RCMP, so everything goes through Tisdale. And it causes a lot of trouble for the RCMP because they have to wait for the tow truck to come out of Tisdale to come and pick up a vehicle.
I think you better be careful on that one. There's others that have the ability to do things closer than Tisdale. That can't be a reason for allowing your favoritism.
I would just go back to
Yeah, what?
something is better than nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
and we're still falling within the bylaws, so, really.
Yeah, I think we have to fall within the bylaws.
And this is a unique
Situation.
exactly.
Because you can't build down there.
And like
So
I
it
said,
was-
you can't
it was
impinge the
wasteland.
property line with the structure because you're not really to build anything because of the water table. So given that, as long as we state a taxable structure, we're still staying within that part of it to be able to consolidate given the circumstances. That's what I would be good with.
He doesn't even need a taxable structure, we could waive that, and we just have to be able to argue our own decisions, right? And it's easy, we can do that, you can't build a taxable structure down there, we have other bylaws that goes against, so.
Exactly.
So we just don't,
Like, I would be good with that, not even having to do a taxable.
no, I don't think we even need that, just
But-
consolidate
Yeah,
the
that's-
property, expand it.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be okay to just approve this one.
It's point of
Well,
throwing.
And we would be going against our policy though.
But we can argue why.
Yeah.
And as long as we have the why, and someone asks you, well, this is why, right, you can't build anything on there
There's
anyway,
no
so,
services, there's no plan to.
so then,
And that's a decent reason.
that's the why. So,
Yeah.
They don't like the why, well, that's the why. Yeah.
Okay, so with the resolution we have in front of us, it says that the policy be ineligible. So we would have to make a change to the resolution to say that the property in this instance be eligible or something along those lines, Michelle?
Eligible to be consolidated.
And
And
we,
that council approves consolidation.
and we could give our rationale due to the fact that you, in this area, you're not in this
Zone.
zoning. Covered, no, this would be Gordon subdivision, wouldn't it be? In Gordon subdivision, you are not allowed to build any more structures, so according to our own bylaw. Which-
I'm sorry, you are allowed to build like a garage at grade as an example, like that is something that can be built. It's just because of the high water table, there might be other engineering standards that you might require,
Yeah,
potentially more rebar or things like that. So like it is possible, but it would cost more money, obviously, just because of the high groundwater.
So it's possible.
Anything's plausible.
Stilts.
You can build anything.
Oh, yeah.
Enough dirt on.
You can build it.
Still a lot that's full of trees too.
Mhm.
It's really not. It's the cost of getting the dump stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we would just say in this situation,
So are we okay? We'll change the resolution that the property be eligible to be consolidated
okay,
Yeah.
in this instance?
Yeah.
And Les, you made the move there, so you're all right with that?
I'm fine with that, totally, yeah,
Okay,
makes more sense to me.
absolutely. All those in favor? And opposed? It's carried. That the reports of committees and boards recorded as item 12.1 be received and filed. Councilor Needorf. All those in favor? It's carried. That the communications recorded as items 13.1 to 13.3 be received and filed. Councilor Blair. Just make sure everybody had a chance to read through all of those communications.
Yep. Any
questions or comments? Go ahead, Jeff.
was highly disappointed in the recreational funding agreement being canceled by the, RM with Nipmuc.
Yes.
Very, we worked hard to get that. I know a lot of staff put a lot of hours into that just to withdraw. Now, definitely we're gonna have to have some words and conversations with our neighbor and and figure out how we're gonna proceed from here on.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I've spoken with the administrator from NRM, and I'll be meeting with her on Thursday regarding a couple of different items. And their council will be willing to meet with us for a supper meeting after August 8th. So we'll have to, as a group, come up with a couple of dates that work for us, and they will make it work on their.
We'll start with Kylie.
Can we get a little bit of background on this recreational funding agreement? Cause I'm unaware of what this was.
Just, it's up to you.
The RM contributes to running our facilities, the arenas, the pool, all of that, because their residents use the
Yeah.
facilities. And so every year they contribute. Most RMs contribute to their municipal facilities at the major town.
And how long was this agreement running for?
It's been for many years, but we just renewed it last year in 2020.
So to go a little deeper, it was only $6,000 and $8,000 at one time. When you look at the amount of people from outside, yeah, it was just, when you're looking at how little money that is, when you look at the losses that you take when you have arenas and pool and things that everybody can enjoy, right?
Well, yeah,
So,
100%.
A greater agreement per capita was put into place, which I believe made it closer to about 30,000, right? 16,
Yes.
but it was gonna go up, right?
It was going up each year by the CPI.
So definitely was going on the right trajectory. So they're doing is backing out of this agreement, right? And then there's also other funding, we used to call tip grant funding, right? That they also pulled back away that we could use to run some of our, community programs. So they're essentially pulling in all their rec fees. So at that point, we have rec facilities that our ratepayers are paying for, right? That
other people are utilizing.
Yeah.
That's their taxes are not going towards it.
then you see the thing, right?
Well, I do, I just didn't understand what it.
So then, that was, this agreement was to keep everything on the level, so, now we'd have to consider where someone lives potentially, based on fees that they're gonna be accessing facilities.
And there's no conversation had, this letter just came in.
Just
where
came-
we're wrong and
This
putting
just
it
came
in
out of
For
nowhere.
no reason.
So,
They didn't provide any rationale or?
No.
I had asked her to provide rationale, and she said the fact that we didn't contribute more to the paving of 10th Street north into Clemmer,
No.
and the fact that they have to, other than the parks and playgrounds, the facilities that their residents utilize are user pay. There's user fees for them. And so they
But-
had to make some tough decisions based to.
We can look at those user fees and we can see our cost
Absolutely.
recovery on those fees and, our rec director there would be able to tell you almost exactly what those are. Right. And you'll be knowing that I think the best is 40% the evergreen. And then after that, it just goes slightly, long way down. So, you know, yes, they are user fee, but they're definitely taxpayer subsidized. So there's no doubt about that.
Users
And we
fees
got
are
the
not-
fact that this is being recorded is a good thing. So,
Yeah.
Our residents pay a user fee as well, plus we subsidize it.
Plus the
property
taxes.
taxes.
Absolutely.
There's gonna be some hard conversations coming up in the following months, I think. Unfortunately.
And sorry if I might add, I do think this is a good opportunity to, maybe CRM on what their user fees are covering and what that 16,000 covers or how much that 16,000 covers. And we have supplied them with subsidy reports to show them the loss that we incur in all of our facilities. So I think if eventually we do have a meeting with their council or our council meets with their council, it will be a good opportunity to provide that information to them.
And I'll supply it to their administrator this week.
Question, so is the RM of Torch River contributing an amount to their facilities?
They do not, because they contribute to White Fox and Choice Land.
Oh, because they have facilities.
So the RM of Torch River has a very large area. We never really wanted to be the really big community coming into the RM to say, hey, you also need to, because we didn't want to affect the small communities. So that was one thing that we considered. Just the RM of Nipawin has contributed to the rec facilities slightly over several years. So this was quite a shock.
Maybe they're going to build a facility.
Possibly. There are some municipalities that have introduced resident, non-resident rates.
and that could be an avenue we go. And if that's the case,
No different than the landfill.
then they'll have to respond to their ratepayer, just like we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we will take samples from other municipalities and, PA is the most recent one that has gone that route with their RM. Unfortunately, it may hit most RMs surrounding that area.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't-
And I personally don't want to go that route, but I think that
No, I would
Because
prefer not
kids
to go
and-
that route too.
kids and physical activity is obviously what we want to see.
Yeah.
And affordable, and Nipawin can boast very affordable sport,
Yes.
right? When compared to a lot of other places, this is one of the most affordable places for sport.
Guess
And a lot of it is because of the policies and everything, so, and agreements like this.
It's just disappointing that there was no conversations had prior to this coming out. Like, I feel sitting and a conversation could have resolved maybe whatever. right?
This is a heavy hand approach. for
Yes,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. I want to say something, but I don't like to rip the man.
Well, it is, there's no rationale to it, and they're removing something that was negotiated in good faith. It's,
Mhm.
yeah. And, yeah, okay.
All right. So, all those in favor? It's carried. The council hereby approves payment of accounts to July 31st, 2025. Councilor Watts. All those in favor, are there any questions? I guess a few of the councilors may not be aware of this. Goes along. We don't have another council meeting this month, so this is approving our bill payments through the end of the month. So. Okay, all those in favor? And it's carried. That the regular meeting of council recess to a public hearing to hear submissions in support of or in opposition to bylaw 2000/25 zoning bylaw amendment and discretionary use application 25-16 podium dwelling. at 8:27 PM. Councillor Fast. All those in favor? It's carried. As presiding officer, I hereby declare the public hearing open. This public hearing is established under the authority of section 24 of the Town of Nipwood Council Procedures Bylaw, number 1170/23. The purpose of this hearing is to hear submissions in support of or against zoning bylaw amendment number 2000/25, seasonal and year-round shelters, and to hear submissions in support of or against discretionary use application number 25-16 for a podium dwelling in accordance with the Town of Nipwood zoning bylaw 763/2000. Bylaw number 2000/25 zoning bylaw amendment. I'll ask the CAO to introduce the matter under consideration.
And I will turn it over to Len Planner.
Thank you. What we are looking to do is add a seasonal and year-round shelter as a discretionary use to the C1 downtown district. So namely, that would be, it's an accessory use to community centers. So that would be the Oasis, would be the community center that's downtown, as an example. So they would be able to apply to have a seasonal or year-round shelter. We did change the wording as per council's request, to have it be clear in the bylaw that it's for overnight stays. And that's it.
Thank you. So council may request any further information from administration. Is there any other information you guys would like to have? Okay. I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the matter. A second time, I will ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this matter. A third and final time, I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this matter. I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak against this matter. A second time, I will ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak against this matter. A third and final time, I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak against this matter. Discretionary use application number 25-08 for a podium dwelling. I would ask the CAO to introduce the matter under consideration.
So it should be application 25-16. I'm sorry. Apologies. And I will forward that to the land planner.
This is an application to have a podium dwelling or residence above the commercial use. So this is in the, what would commonly be called the Roxy Theater. They're looking to have a podium dwelling there with some bedrooms for the owner's family to stay in. They're in process of speaking with the building official on getting certain requirements in place, so we don't have a report ready for a decision. So we had the public hearing scheduled for tonight, so that's why we have the public hearing tonight.
Okay. So council can request any further information. Is there any more information we'd like to have? Okay. I would ask if there's anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this matter. A second time, I will ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the matter. A third and final time, I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this matter. I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak against the matter. A second time, I will ask if anyone wishes to speak against this matter. A third and final call, I would ask if there is anyone who wishes to speak against the matter. I now declare the public hearing closed at 8:31 PM. That the public hearing is hereby adjourned and the regular meeting of council resumed at 8:32 PM. Councillor Newdorf. All those in favor? That's carried. Bylaws, my favorite. That bylaw number 2000/25 being a bylaw to authorize an amendment to bylaw number 763/2000 cited as the zoning bylaw be read a second time. Councillor Stewart. Yeah, I will turn it over to Jeff.
Sure, this is kind of it's the same one that we just talked about. It's to add the seasonal and year-round shelters to the C1 zone. The Oasis did, I guess this is separate from the bylaw, but the Oasis kit did kind of change their plan, is what I have stated in the report here. They're looking to do an addition to their building instead of two additional separate buildings. But yeah, the bylaw itself is just for the use of a shelter downtown.
Okay. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? That's carried. That bylaw number 2000/25 being a bylaw to authorize an amendment to bylaw number 763/2000 cited as the zoning bylaw be read a third time and finally adopted. Councillor Vic. Right. Give everybody another opportunity. Do you have any questions or comments? All those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to introduce and give first reading to bylaw number 1200/25, the purpose of which is to sell municipal reserve R15, plan number CG 863, and that administration be authorized to prepare the necessary public advertisements, and that a public hearing be held at the regular meeting of council on August 11th, 2025. Councillor Stewart. And I think Jeff would probably speak to this one.
So I apologize if there isn't a map showing where this is. This is the public reserve land that would be directly west of the McDonald's property along 11th Avenue, or no, sorry, 11th Street. Okay. It's land that we've considered at one time to use as land for a snow dump. But we've found out that there's enough room in our existing snow dumps and the snow dump that's along Nicklin Road that we wouldn't need to use this land as a snow dump. I don't envision there being a park created at this location. So it's land that we've considered selling in the past, but I would like to kind of be proactive and remove the municipal reserve designation. That way, if somebody does come interested, it's not a 2-month process to go through to have it ready to be sold. It can be something that if someone comes, the land is ready.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments?
How far does the land go back?
To the railway.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I thought that Cozen owned the land between the.
So they have the house that's right north of this parcel, but the town of Nipawin owns this as municipal reserve or park space. So the town does own it. So if it does get sold, any money that we get from the sale of it has to go into the dedicated lands account to be used for future parks.
I had understood across the road from them. I asked him permission.
Oh,
Dump snow.
That's not where it is, though. It's not across the road from them. I think it's.
yeah.
No, I thought that's what I'm saying. There's the public reserve and he stopped the town from taking more trees out of there because he had owned the land. And I had asked him if I could dump snow there. I got his permission, apparently I got the wrong permission.
That's why you gave it to you so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm somewhat confused there too.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look on-
Just out of curiosity, how much land is it acre wise?
2 acres.
Two?
It's right at the end of the road adjacent to the SAS Power property on the other side of the road that runs into the Granfield land. So if you went straight up there and you drove off, ours is the 2 acres on the end.
Okay, Jeff, do you have a question there?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out what this is. This land will eventually be serviceable by our new loop.
Side of the street.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right there, right?
That's it.
Good opportunity to add some commercial property. there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's immediately south of the White House.
Okay.
Immediately, the 2 acres immediately south of the White House.
Yes, right there.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea. But this will be good commercial. land, yeah. And we need commercial land. Something we know is in our audit report, is we only have 300 and, what, 22,000 land for sale.
And this is where they're gonna be bringing this.
That's an argument. That's
Right there.
And
Challenge our
the other
size.
land,
I almost brought it up in the audit.
this part here.
Buy some land.
Oh, I see what the
And
confusion
board,
is.
lots of
Right
fun
here.
county.
Okay.
No, that's it.
But when we own it, it saves the conversation, makes it smoother.
Yeah, it'll be good commercial land.
Everybody's got an idea now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so are there any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? That's carried. That bylaw number 1200/25, being a bylaw to provide for the sale of dedicated lands, be introduced and read a first time. Councillor Vic. So do we have any other questions or comments? This is just our first reading. All right, all those in favor? That's carried. That bylaw number 1201/25, being a bylaw to authorize an amendment to bylaw number 1135/21, cited as the traffic bylaw, be introduced and read a first time. Councillor Watts. And, Michelle, did you want to speak to this?
Sure, this amendment is to incorporate a four-way stop here at the corner of Second Avenue and Second Street.
Yes.
And that was identified by the traffic study that was done a few years ago to make that a four-way stop. And it's gotten much busier now that the cardiac rehab
Very busy.
facility has moved in next
I
door.
think that was so conflict.
We really need, we really do need,
So financial.
need to look at that at this time.
And this was originally in one of our previous,
Traffic city.
Yeah.
that we were looking at, so. Any questions or comments on this?
There probably is a lot more parking happening outside here now, which kind of detracts from the visual, right, at that
Yeah.
intersection, so
That's
it's a good idea.
This intersection, for some reason, was one of the most collisions happened at this intersection, one of the highest in the entire town. Right. The other one, I think, wasn't it by Abraham's, that one? Third, and would have been seventh, but that doesn't matter, this is this one, but
It was covered?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's lots of winter accidents happen here, especially when the snow berm goes in the winter.
Mhm.
I think this past winter, I saw 3 different vehicles,
Yeah.
2 of them in the same day.
So top of the window.
Yeah. All right. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor? That's carried. That bylaw number 1201/25 be read a second time. Councilor Blair. Any questions or comments, any thoughts or concerns? All those in favor? It's carried. that bylaw number 1201/25 be given 3 readings at this meeting. Councillor Fass. All those in favor? That's carried. That bylaw number 1201/25 being a bylaw to authorize an amendment to bylaw number 1135/21 cited as the traffic bylaw be read a 3rd time and finally adopted. Councillor Neudorf. So this is your last chance. If you have any questions or comments before we adopt this. All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, so we'll move on to the round table. And why don't we start with Kylie today?
I had all last week off from work and had my kids in swimming lessons, was busy, and then got back for the weekend and was volunteered with Chelsea on the street fair there on Saturday, and went to Trevor's High School reunion Saturday night with a bunch of people I never met before. And then Sunday I had the joys of putting on a nice hot hat and riding on the fire truck and the parade. So it was good. And yeah, just spent the day out on Main there, and it was really good. I was amazed at the turnout of people, especially on Sunday. It's crazy. It was really, really good. It's good. Good show, good turnout. Everything went really well.
Thank you, Kylie. Les.
Nothing council related other than we attended the fair this weekend and the parade, and again, kudos to whoever was involved in organizing it. Nothing but fantastic. The fireworks, although I forgot about them and I missed them, but I heard them.
Especially that first one at the beginning.
Well, I was watching the ball game and is it thundering out? But yeah, I apologize because I missed a good show I hear. So, but other than that, quiet for me, but busy at work.
Yeah. Thank you, Stacy.
Well, I did attend a regional park meeting, and it was status quo. There wasn't anything that was crazy brought up. And then this weekend, I just keep on saying, oh, what a wonderful job the town did on it. And we helped out with pancake breakfast at the museum. There's 450 that we served, 86 pounds of sausage, 31 boxes of pancake mix. At the fire hall, there was 201 people came through the door.
Wow.
Both of them it was crazy, it was great.
Yeah. Just a comment on the regional park. I don't know what you guys would have seen, but somebody caught a 4-pound rainbow in that little pond.
Oh, in the pond.
Plus, just in the last week.
Pond, really?
So
must have went down the foot.
ever since they started aerating that pond, the fish have been getting much bigger. Used to be you'd get a 12 or 13 inch, 1 to 2 pounds. But yeah, a friend of mine caught a 4-pound rainbow in there. It's unreal. So you're gonna see some ice shacks set up there this week.
I hope not.
I'm gonna do mine at the end. If that's all right. So I'm gonna pass it off to Jeff.
Oh, I was involved in a lot of things. Like you've heard how great of a job you done, and I can echo that. But it was a great job. That multiple people stopped, talk to me, flag me down, stop me at the grocery store. It took me 20 minutes more to get my chocolate milk. So they had to talk to me. But I can't tell you how much I think this community really loved this last 3 days and this last week. So, and I know it probably took a year and a half to get those 3 days. So that was absolutely amazing. As for me specifically, there's volunteering, but the big one was the heliport. We did the opening of the grand opening. Michelle was there as well. I guess you were in the audience, and Joyce, she came as well. And it was it's putting closure to that thing that started in it's been started in healthcare brain before I got here, right? I moved here in 07 and I remember thinking, how did we not have a heliport here? And it's just been years and years on council, just 9 years now. We've been thinking about it. 2018, we put some words to it, and then it kind of all fell apart with COVID. And then we finally cut the ribbon the other day, and that was just liberating. Like, it was a beautiful day. The wind's blowing. You got your heliport there. You got a beautiful canola field sitting right there. Beautiful blue sky, and it gave me a microphone. Like, and I talked as much as you guys all know. So, and yeah, it was just amazing. I'm so proud that we, as a community and all the communities, managed to get that done. That is a big boon for health, and I hope one of us never needs it, but if it's there, it's there. So that was probably my biggest thing. No, I'll be in the Friars tomorrow if you want to come see me at the Kingsman booth.
Thank you, Jeff. Joyce?
Well, I do have an email to read out. I received from Rick Fettis. The Melford Marlins swim team would like to thank the community of Nipawin, the Nipawin Lions Swim Club, and especially the staff at the pool at Central Park for the fantastic weekend joint swim meets on July 5th and 6th. 170 competitive swimmers from across the province really enjoyed the weekend. Special note of thanks to the lifeguard who noticed a problem in the pool and didn't hesitate to spring into action. The attentive lifeguard was appreciated by all the coaches and parents.
Exactly who that is too.
Yeah. And I missed the fireworks. I was going to go, and then I wasn't feeling good. My husband did wake me up to see the last few high ones, and they looked spectacular. And then I did attend the ribbon cutting at the heliport. I did speak to a couple of people watching out the window in the hospital. They're quite disappointed that a helicopter wasn't landing there for them. But they loved the show otherwise.
I tried to get stars to come.
Oh, they got.
Yeah, but they welcomed it as well because they see a big need for it. And then I didn't go into the parade. I like to sit and watch the parade. There was a lot of people there, and I noticed that there was floats in there that hadn't participated before. So I think the 100 years event was really well done, and the town really showed off.
Every fire truck was there.
Yes, and I noticed where all our money was.
I loved it.
And it was all nice and shiny.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Joyce.
Yeah, I think the past couple of weeks have been a great reminder of what makes our community so special. I attended Rick DeBeck's retirement barbecue with the town staff. I know Councillor Vic was there as well as the mayor. So congrats again to Rick. That's quite a career and a very well earned retirement. So I also joined the mayor for a meeting with our local staff sergeant to continue strengthening that relationship since he'd mentioned that he'd missed a few meetings. So I didn't make it to the Canada Day at the museum as we were out on the water, but I did also heard it was a really fantastic event. And then there was the weekend, and I tried to take in as much of the celebrations as I could. And I was talking with Councillor Blair, and we were like, we kind of seemed to tag team to the events that I missed, he was at, and vice versa. So I started at the homecoming event at the Evergreen Center, and then headed to Walleye Park I thought I was going to watch from my yard, but then I was like, no, I need to get up close and personal. And I think they left a big impression on our community. We have company in from Abbotsford and some teenage boys, and they said this is amazing, nothing like anything they'd ever seen in the city, because they were so up close they could hear the boom, and so it left quite an impression. So that was wonderful. And then Saturday went to the pancake breakfast and the time capsule opening at the museum. A shout out to the Nipawin Fire Department, who flipped hundreds of pancakes and got everyone through that line pretty impressively. I made it to the town square for the official kickoff, and was surprised and very impressed to see that our Premier Scott Moe and MLA Terry Brom were there, as well as the Mayor of Tisdale. So it was nice of them to be there, showing their support for the largest town in Saskatchewan. And I also made it to the heliport ribbon cutting. I know our land planner was there as well. And toured the fire hall, the open house, took in some of the live music, some of those 100-year cocktails, and watched the parade, the street fair. I even made it to the inflatable race, which was interesting. Again, I couldn't get to everywhere, but everywhere I went, I saw people hugging and laughing and reminiscing. And I think it was just, there was a real sense of community pride, which was absolutely wonderful to see. And I think our community really needed it. So I want to echo everyone's words here tonight and give my own heartfelt thank you to everyone who kind of pulled it together, and town staff, but also the members of the community that were on the 100-year planning committee, and then everyone who came home to Nipawin to celebrate with us. And now the fun continues with the fair. So
Thank you. So the reason I just left mine is it's a little bit longer today, as I'm going to do a bit of a catch up. I know I missed the last council meeting. So all the way back in June, on June 11th, I managed to squeeze in 5 meetings that day. So we did the Airport Advisory Committee, where we did talk about things like the CAP funding. We had our Tri-Town Mayors meeting, where we did discuss our 100 celebration, as well as some boundary expansion discussion. Tisdale's looking at some stuff in their area as well, so they were interested to see how we were doing. We also talked about tax incentive policy changes that we made here, and just some general discussion around all 3 of our airports that we have. We had the Landfill Advisory Committee, where we got updates on the scale in the buildings. Our governance meeting, where we had our economic strategy and development plans. And then also we had this, at that time, the special council meeting where we discussed the property taxes. June 13th, this was a little bit personal, a little bit business. So it was our Chamber of Commerce golf tournament here in town, which was fun. I did not hit a hole in one. I don't even know if I hit a green. June 14th was that Rough Riders party that Chelsea and her crew put together. And then June 27th, I attended the Suncrest graduation here in town. And also later that day was the meeting that Lisa and I attended with our staff sergeant to do some relationship building. July 8th was the SHA meeting with the harm reduction crew, where we discussed the needle exchange. They shared some stats that they have. Also wanted us, just a reminder that they do provide naloxone and testing strips and sharps bins to anyone who comes in and requests them. And they did mention that there is some new provincial programming that will be coming in the upcoming months to help people that are struggling with addiction. So we didn't get into it too deep because it was just announced to them prior to shortly before the meeting. July 10th, I attended the opening to the Nipawin Hawks fishing tournament, and congrats to the Weber team on first place with a 2-day total of 569 centimeters. That is, I believe, one of the largest 2-day totals they've ever had. The fishing has been phenomenal. The amount of teams that were able to produce 280 centimeters in a single day was phenomenal. Our fishery is fantastic. July 11th, yes, fireworks. I was there, absolutely loved it. I also want to give a shout out to Nipawin's newest resident. His name is Jackson. And when I was at the fireworks, he was 2 days old. So we got to spend the evening together. So friends of mine. July 12th and 13th, obviously, we had our 100th celebration. I attended the pancake breakfast and capsule opening, as well as the dignitaries with Premier Scott Moe and MLA Terry Brome. Then I was off to the heliport grand opening. And in between all of those, I spent a lot of time talking to both residents from town, from out of town, new and old, and everything that people said, just as you guys all said as well. It's been a fantastic evening. The town put on a great show. I did hear from all 4 corners of our continent, by the way. I spoke with somebody from Florida, somebody from Los Angeles, California, Vancouver, and from the Maritimes. People traveled from all over the country and the States to come home, and that was fantastic to hear. I drove in the exhibition parade, and it's nice to drive in the parade, I guess, to wave at everybody. It's too bad you missed it all, though. The one thing I did notice was how many people were wearing some kind of Nipwin branded shirt. Whether it came from any of our local businesses that were selling them, anything that the town had for sale, there were hundreds of shirts in the crowd celebrating Nipwin 100. Also, a shout out to Twin Motors GM and Spectrum Signs and Printing for getting that truck I was driving ready to show off. I had use of that all weekend, so thank you to them. These are just a couple other mentions I'd like to make, just because I wasn't able to be here at the last meeting. So thank you and congratulations to Rick DeBeck for the 40 years of service to the town, and enjoy your retirement. The second one is a congratulations to Lori Zacharias, who is my sister. She received a bronze medal in bocce ball at the Special Olympics held June 14th and 15th. So congratulations to her. And again, just a big shout out to our administrative team and the entire staff and the volunteers for working so hard to make our 100th celebration come together in such a great way. It was inspiring to hear from so many people in our town, and there's nothing but positivity being spread throughout our community. So thank you to everybody involved. And then a final thing I'd like to present. So this was a certificate of recognition that was provided to myself at the dignitaries from Scott Moe. And it reads, I, Scott Moe, Premier in the province of Saskatchewan, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me, do hereby recognize the immense and lasting contributions that the people of Nipwin, past and present, have made to the history and prosperity of Saskatchewan for 100 years. And I request the citizens of the province of Saskatchewan to recognize these contributions. So, I'm sure Michelle will find a place to hang that.
We will absolutely find this.
So.
There's room.
So that's what I've been up to for a while, so thank you for indulging that extra time. I see our public forum is quite full today.
They're all at the fair.
No one wants to be at a council meeting. All right, that the regular council meeting of July 14th, 2025 be closed with Mayor Zacharias in the chair pursuant to section 122A of the Municipalities Act, and citing exemptions contained in the Local Authority Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act under section 16, advice from officials, and section 17, economic and other interests, at 9 p.m. Councillor Blair. All those in favor? That's carried.
Hope you guys all get some vacation.
Yeah.
A little bit of vacation.